it really does seem like in the next episode, we're finally going to wrap up this mystery of who the Demon Lord is in actuality, or where Kumiko is in the future timeline. But yeah, I just got done with the episode 22 of So I'm a Spider, So What? And this is my thoughts on the episode. So yeah, a great deal. This episode kind of follows Kumiko as she is surrounded by the war that she technically started. It's so funny because I love this segment because it's all kind of being portrayed by her as like a reporter reporting about what the fight's going on, reporting about this weather that is the blood that's kind of flying everywhere, and also reporting from the Demon Lord on what's happening with her in the battle with the Earth Dragon. But got a lot of fun out of that entire situation. But yeah, on one end you do have Kumiko. She is watching this war and then she decides to get involved because she needs to experience in order to fight the Demon Lord. And then once she actually gets involved and kills a bunch of soldiers and gets a bunch of experience, the Demon Lord just appears right in front of her. And then we quickly jump over back in time a little bit to see what happened to the Demon Lord just before then. And she was fighting this Earth Dragon. The Earth Dragon was kind of keeping his own against the Demon Lord, but it seemed like the Demon Lord was only kind of flubbing because this body self within her that is Kumiko was essentially eating at her mind and her soul, and then they were also kind of merging to where the point that she would flub out goofy phrases for different attacks and kind of stutter a little bit. And she was going to let the dragon go, but then the dragon said, no, only if you agree to essentially pass on to the next people the Demon Lord status. And she's like, no, I'm not going to do that. And then she finally finishes off the dragon. And then at that point, Guidi shows up and Guidi's like, which one of you are you? And she's like, what do you mean? It's like, well, there's this other self in you that's merging and it is this Kumiko lady and you have two selves right now. And obviously it seems more like Ariel's there, but you're obviously merging. And she said that she did acknowledge that point that because she's seeing the self in her and they're kind of merging, she has a less of a desire to kill Kumiko, but she still wants to dish out revenge. And then he helps her by teleporting her to the battlefield in front of Kumiko. And that's when we had a fight between the two of them, Kumiko and Ariel, and they're fighting each other. And then at some point, the hero, which was Shun's brother, shows up and he's still really young. But at this point, the Demon Lord stops. And Kumiko believes because she's a Shotokan, but then she realizes, no, this boy has the hero status, and the hero has the power to slay, or the skill to help him slay the Demon Lord, and she might be pausing because of that. But then the stalemate's kind of broken by a fireball, and the Demon Lord blasts Kumiko with abyss magic, and she's like, I'm immortal, but I can't withstand this, and then she disappears at that point, so it kind of leaves that is the end of Kumiko, but of course we know that's probably not going to be true. But and right after the scene, it jumps forward to the current time where we have Hugo is fighting against the hero Shun. Then they're kind of fighting over who's going to actually fight Hugo, and it kind of acknowledges the fact of the gluttony ability that he has and how he's been acquiring all these skills. His stats are all over the place, but certain ones are still strong. And he employs this ability that allows him to kind of enhance his abilities, and they're going to go at it. And even though the teacher's like, no, I need to handle this, Shun's like, no, this is bigger than you. I need to handle this kind of thing. So it also kind of acknowledges the fact that Hugo, when one of the students kind of tells him who he is, he doesn't remember who he is. So it's kind of acknowledging the fact that Hugo has forgotten who some of these students are. He's just like so dead focused on these one targets, kind of implying that aspect of him being mind controlled. And then the final scene we have is Guri, and he's kind of, watching everything, and he acknowledges the fact that it seems like things are kind of in this world is being accelerated by the incarnates, this kind of path to the end, and that we're kind of going to see a possible ending to this long running battle between the two of them, and kind of questions which one of the two will be acknowledged. And it kind of shows a brief shot of Ariel, the Demon Lord, and this white-cladded lady, which is kind of implying that, okay, here's the pair right here. Here's the Demon Lord, and Ariel, and here is Kumiko in this one shot. Now, we'll get into in a minute my thoughts on all of that stuff, but yeah, overall, pretty decent episode. Like I said, had a lot of fun with the very beginning of it. It was really goofy watching Kumiko kind of weather forecast and news report all that was happening in that scene, and watching the fight between the two of them. Again, overall, the entire episode, not very good animation at all whatsoever. A lot of really bad shots, but it was functional, I guess. The warring battles between the soldiers and stuff looked okay. A lot of the fight between Kumiko and the Demon Lord Ariel was pretty stiff and meh. But yeah, of course, the last scene between Hugo and Shun and the teacher and all them was just the usual. Why does it look like these two characters are right next to each other when they were just like this far away from each other earlier? Where was Hugo somehow vanished and he's suddenly next to Sophia? It just looked doofy, as always. It's almost like that point where it's like, I just want this story to end so I can stop seeing this kind of bad animation. And that really does kind of bug me, because I'm kind of wondering, once we get this big reveal about, where's Kumiko, maybe possibly Kumiko meeting the other class members. Those are two, like, the last hanging points, which are technically the most interesting and the most kind of intriguing to pull me along. And I'm kind of wondering at this point, once that's all revealed, is there going to be that much content there for me to care about continuing watching it? Because that's always been that's always been the thing that has been fun to speculate on and stuff. And I'm kind of afraid that once that's gone, a lot of that joy is going to be lost, except for, again, the last remaining thing will be obviously Kumiko will remain, and Kumiko is a lot of fun as a character, and the voicing and everything is a lot of fun. But yeah, like I mentioned, of course, the big kind of hang up on the end here is that it's acknowledging at this point that this long-running battle between the two of them will conclude. Yeah, you can assume that he might be talking about the hero versus the Demon Lord, but obviously having these two characters in the shot when he says that implies that this is Kumiko and Ariel. And the big question is who is Ariel and who is Kumiko? Now, again, we've had two things in this episode technically answer some of the hanging points of this theory between the two of them. One being, at some point we had Ariel, or we had the Demon Lord acknowledge in the future timeline that she had fought a Earth Dragon, and this was right after we seen Kumiko take out an Earth Dragon in the past. And again, this was thought as misdirection because, I mean, you can assume the Demon Lord at some point fought a Earth Dragon, but at the same time, it also kind of puts in that question of, is this Kumiko in the Demon Lord's body talking about how she fought this Earth Dragon in the past? Well, we just seen Ariel herself fought an Earth Dragon. The other big question that we really had in the future timeline of the Demon Lord being Kumiko was my constant statement that it's hard to not think that Kumiko is inside the Demon Lord's body in the future because of a statement that she made about not wanting Shun to be upset that she has to kill his brother, naming him as his past self reincarnated. And that technically was answered in this episode because we had the Demon Lord as Ariel was fighting with keeping her self-identity. She kept speaking like she was Kumiko because this body self was inside of her eating away at her. And that again leads me to believe the idea of her as Kumiko eventually merging as the Demon Lord. Now, there's quite a time difference here between the past time and the current time. So it does beg the question of why it would take so long before that would happen. But it does lead me to believe that, yeah, we can technically at this point confirm that Kumiko's body self within Ariel would eventually eat up her. And we don't necessarily have a guaranteed Ariel's still the Demon Lord and Kumiko is a white-cladded lady, but more so that possibly they're both Kumiko at this point. It's a possibility at that point, because like I said, we've seen how she's slowly being taken over, that her soul is essentially merging with Ariel in this back time. But the way that he states that this ongoing battle between the two of them leads me to believe that there is a separation there. And it then goes to the theory that, yeah, the white-cladded lady is going to be Kumiko. She's kind of being silent. She's keeping quiet, waiting for her time to pounce. And at the same time, Ariel is the Demon Lord, but she has a little bit of Kumiko within her. And I think that's probably going to create a friendship between the two of them, because it seemed like the Demon Lord as Ariel was having a lot of fun in the battle in the past. She said, I no longer want to kill her, or I don't have a feeling like I want to kill her anymore, but I just want to, get some revenge. And like I said, it looked like she was having fun in the battle, so it leads me to believe the idea that Ariel wants to preserve Kumiko, and so this battle seems like she kills Kumiko, but she actually just, yeah, she could have enslaved her, or she reincarnates her or saves her life so that she can be her partner in going forward. And I kind of wish that I didn't see the the title for the next episode. So slight spoilers here for those who don't want to know the title. Some people don't care about knowing the title, but the title basically implies, that a friend is going to betray her. And so it implies in that sense, or I can at least, yeah, you can say that's probably Hugo and Shun. That's implying their friendship and now they're fighting each other. Or you can say it is the Demon Lord saying that and that she thought that Kumiko was her friend. But, yeah, I think at this point I'm pretty much mostly leaning on the idea of the white-clad lady is going to be Kumiko. I mean, the color matches. She does have all the spiders working under her. A lot of that stuff. I kind of didn't want it to be that obvious, but it was the obvious option. I just didn't want it to be that obvious. And so I kind of wonder if it's going to be a thing, at least be a thing where, yes, Kumiko becomes a white-clad lady. She got, beat down by the Demon Lord. She's already mentioned, the Demon Lord, assuming it's Ariel, has already mentioned the idea of, somebody wouldn't, listen to her command, and that was Kumiko, and then it showed the white-clad lady. I was just hoping it wasn't going to be that obvious, and that was going to be something cool to it. But it seems like everything's pointing at that being the case. White-clad lady is Kumiko. She's waiting for her chance to kind of rise back up. There's something keeping her from doing it. And I can assume that would be a thing of, oh yeah, this body self within Ariel eventually beats her. And then Kumiko is able to, fully beat the Demon Lord Ariel and then, take all of her powers in the end, which will happen probably here in the next couple episodes if this does wrap it up. It seems like it's going to possibly wrap up with the end of the season. Hopefully it will. I hope it doesn't end with them never answering the question. That would kind of really anger me at this point, having 2 full cores of debating this topic and then not have it answered. But yeah, all signs seem to point to that. I mean, the opposite would be that, Kumiko did end up overtaking the Demon Lord. The Demon Lord is Kumiko, and maybe she put, something into the white-clad lady. Maybe the white-clad lady is Ariel in the end. That's a possible other thing, but I hope it's something fun. Like I said, at this point, it seems like it's too obvious that it is the white-clad lady, but I hope it's something fun like that. Like, yeah, they just swapped, and now Ariel is the white-clad lady, and that's why she's kind of submissive. She got knocked down, and now Kumiko has taken over, but we'll have to wait and see. I got a huge kick out of her. Ariel beating the crap out of Kumiko, and she's bumping into soldiers and leveling up, and she's like, here's to all the nameless soldiers that allowed me to level up, and it has all them like stand there in a pose, like they're all proud of it. All the goofy flubs, the reporting that Kumiko was doing, a lot of really fun points in this episode that I got a lot of laughs out of, but again, kind of rough ending, but that is the case with anything on their side of the story. But that's my thoughts on episode 22. We got 2 more episodes left this series. Hopefully things will wrap up really good. Not, like I said, too obvious and anticlimactic, but we'll have to wait and see. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like down below, comment, let me know what you thought of the episode, subscribe if you haven't already, share this video if you can, and I hope you all enjoyed, and y'all take care.